are going to talk about the big book of Who again. At this time, we are going to do part 2. So let's start. Jane Austen. Austen grew up in a middle-class family. The Austen children were educated mostly at home, thanks to their father's large library. For fun, they played games or read aloud to each other. Austen loved funny, romantic stories. Jane brothers and sisters often wrote plays to perform for the rest of the family. One man's ways may be as good as another's, but we all like our own best. From the book Persian. Job. Novelist. Born December 16, 1775. Died July 18, 1870. Why she is important? She was one of England's greatest writers. She helped invent the novel as a type of literature, and she made women and girls the main characters in her books. She wrote her first stories for herself and her family to enjoy. When their father died in 1805, Jane and her sister Cassandra and their mother did not have much money. They lived with relatives, including some of Jane's brothers, who were already grown up. In 1809, Jane's brother Henry brought a home for his mother and sisters. The ladies moved, and Jane began writing novels for publication to be sold to others. She was hoping to earn some money for her family. Since well-raised ladies weren't supposed to write novels, Jane didn't put her own name in the books. There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart. She used Domin, a lady. She asked Henry to send her writings to a publisher. Her novels sold well, and many are still popular today. Jane was able to live a quiet life because only her family knew she was the writer of her books. It wasn't until she died, Henry told the world who the writer really was. Austen's writing table. A pseudonym is a made-up name used by a writer who wants to keep his or her own name a secret. Abraham Lincoln was born in a one-room log cabin in Kentucky, USA. When he was 7 years old, family moved to Indian territory. Lincoln did not go to school very often. Instead, he worked to help support his family. When he wasn't working, Lincoln was reading. He borrowed books from anybody he could. Lincoln's birthplace, Hingeable, Kentucky. Territory. When Lincoln was a child, people were moving into American and West. Many of these lands were called territories. They later became states. Job. Lawyer, states president. Born February 12, 1809, USA. Died April 15, 1865. Why he is important? He was the president who brought the United States together after the Civil War and ended slavery. When Lincoln was 21 years old, his family moved to a town in Illinois. The next year, Lincoln moved to a different town in Illinois. Before long, everybody knew this tall man who told funny stories with a country accent. He was chosen to represent the area in the state capital. He also taught himself the law and became a lawyer. Later, he was elected to USA House of Representatives. In 1860, he became the 16th President of the United States. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel strong and encourage them to see it tried on him personally. Painting of the Lincoln family. At this time, slavery existed across the southern states. Lincoln's belief was that slavery was wrong and made people in the southern states angry. They decided to start their own country called Confederate States of America. Both of the North and South were willing to fight for their beliefs in the Civil War and began soon. The Civil War started on April 12, 1861 and lasted for 4 years. During the war, on January 1, 1863, Lincoln was announced that slaves were free. This caused the amputation to be free. In 1864, Lincoln was re-elected. Union soldiers from northern states won the war. It ended on April 9, 1865. Southern states rejoined the North. After a few days later, President Lincoln and his wife, Mary, went to see a play. A man named John Wilkes was angry at Lincoln over the war. Booth shoot Lincoln at the theater. Lincoln died the next day. Today, Abraham Lincoln is remembered as one of the greatest U.S. presidents. His actions helped reunite the North and South after the war. He ended slavery. Most of all, he had believed that the idea stated the Declaration of Independence that all the people are created equal and deserve freedom. Elizabeth Blackwell. Anytime young Elizabeth Blackwell felt sick, she was treated by a male doctor. That's because there were no female doctors in England. When Elizabeth was 11 years old, her family moved to the United States. There were no female doctors there either. Back then, most people believed that women couldn't be doctors. They believed that women are too delicate to see bloody wounds and too sensitive to perform surgery. Also, most men were horrified by the women examining their bodies. Many women, unfortunately, doctored others, but a medical school education was off limits to them. Doctor, born February 3, 1821, England, died May 13, 1910. Why she's important? She was the first female doctor in the United States. She inspired other women to follow their dreams. A medical college's operating room. Blackwell didn't think it made sense that women weren't allowed to become doctors. One day, there are plenty of women who can make wise and caring doctors. Blackwell taught school through her teen years and beyond then. Her spare time studied everything medical books she can get her hands on. hands on. When he was 26, Blackwell had learned all she could from books. She needed to go to medical school to finish her education. It's not easy to be a pioneer, but it is fascinating. It would not trade one moment, even the worst moment, for all the riches in the world. School after school turned her down. Given a medical school in New York thought her request was crazy. They made a joke of it. They asked all male students to vote. Should they let her in or not? The students voted yes. They would joke too. And they wanted to see what would happen next. The school let Elizabeth Blackwell enroll. They didn't think she would last long. At first, the male students ignored Blackwell. Some laughed at her. But when they saw how serious she was about learning, they slowly began to like her. She graduated in 1849 as the first woman to doctor in America. Elizabeth Blackwell graduated with the highest grades in her class. It's not easy to become a... Okay, I already read that. Need more inventors and scientists. Isabella Bird. Isabella Bird was always tired and weak as a child. But when she was 22 years old, her doctor told her family that a long journey would be good for her. Bird set sail from England to visit America. Young women sent long letters home to her sister describing the places she saw and the things she did. Someone decided her letters would make a great book. After all, not many English women got to travel through America alone. The book was called An English Woman in America, and it was very popular. Elizabeth's book, A Lady's Life, The Rocky Mountains, was so popular that the publisher had to reprint the book 7 times. Isabella was the first woman to join London's Royal Geographic Society, an organization of explorers and people who studied the information brought back by explorers. After her trip, Bird stayed home in England for many years. She felt sick most of the time. By 1872, both of her parents had died. There was no reason for Isabella to stay in England. She left to visit Australia, New Zealand, and Hawaii. In Hawaii, she climbed the Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa volcanoes. Each were then more than 13,000 feet, 3,962 million meters high. Elizabeth Bird was the first woman to be asked. I already read that. Next, Bird came back to America. She rode the transcontinental railroads through the western United States. She also took a horseback tour through the Rocky Mountains. Her guide was a tough as nails mountain gem with him. She even climbed the 14,000 foot 267 meters high long peak. Elizabeth Bird enjoyed good health. When she was outside of England, she was less than 5 feet, 5.1 meters tall. But she carried a heavy camera equipment on her trips. For her books, she went to explore China, India, Japan, Korea, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Morocco, Persia, now called Iran, Singapore, Tibet, Turkey, and thank you. I hope you enjoy, and bye. And if you have not seen others from our series, you just go and check them out when this finishes. Bye bye, thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.